Loveless by Chris Courtney Martin, based on the works of L. Frank Baum. Fade in, interior, metal shop, night. We peer through a jerry-rigged peephole gored into metal siding, the night sky dusted with a thin green haze. Cut to, exterior, metal shop, continuous. Through the other side of the peephole, eyes, hard, squinting. They belong to Lovelace, 26. She's steely, blunt, hermetic. Reflected in her eyes, a flaming spherical pod, 8 feet in diameter. It streaks across the sky. Loy winces, her eyes roll back. She sinks out of view. Cut to, exterior, Beligra's stronghold, continuous. A Neo-Georgian-style government building reinforced with sheet metal. It's a fortress, ad hoc but impenetrable. Hanging from its facade, a crimson banner. Its emblem, an ear of corn. Cut to, exterior, cornfield, continuous. A massive, bountiful cornfield. The crop is unnaturally large and handsome. A 20-foot gate encloses the field. The keeper, Elias Crow, late 40s, just sober enough to function. He lazes against the gate. In his hand, a mason jar. A couple sips of moonshine remain. Crow takes a gulp. The corn stalks shudder, cast in a glow from overhead. Crow drains the rest of the liquor. Crow's POV, through the bottom of the jar, the pod blazes across the sky. Crow chokes. Cut to, exterior, Beligra's stronghold, continuous. The pod crashes into the roof. Steel buckles collapses, dust and debris rain down. Cut to, interior, Beligra's stronghold, continuous. Smoking remains of a grand hall akin to a throne room. In the center, the pod partially embedded in the floor. It blooms open. Cadet Dot Gale stands in her sleek spacesuit and helmet. She's 19, naive and terrified, but too proud to show it. Dot's POV, the inside of her visor. The holographic stats calculate over her view of the decimated room. Finally, atmosphere breathable. She presses a button below her left ear. The helmet retracts into her collar. A clamshell hatch folds down onto the floor, revealing a small set of stairs. Dot hobbles out, quaking. She steadies herself, glances around at her surroundings, then up at the green, clouded atmosphere, visible through the gaping ceiling and roof. Dot circles her pod, assesses the damage. Around the back, wires and thin tubes protrude from under the pod. Dot approaches, cautious. Beads of silvery liquid drip from the tubing. She nudges the tubes with the tip of her boot. Liquid gushes from the tubes, splatters her boots and shins. Dot jumps, staggers back. Her foot catches on a fallen beam. She kneels backward, thuds to the floor, groans. Shit! Dot rolls on her left side, braces herself to stand. She lifts her gaze. She's face to face with a severed female head. Its neck stump drips silver liquid. Dot shrieks. Cut to, interior pod, moments later. Dot sits in the enclosed pod, helmet in place. She fiddles with the controls, frantic.
Greyhouse, this is Cadet Dot Gale in pod 1899. Do you read? Greyhouse, do you read me? This is Dot Gale, niece of Captain Amelia Gale. I've suffered a crash landing. I'm unharmed, but my pod is immobilized. I'm not sure whether the cause was physical damage or some sort of atmospheric interference. Please give an affirmative if you copy.
Silence. Her jaw trembles. She slams her fist into the control panel. She presses a green button on the dashboard. The pod opens. Her eyes widen. Cut to, interior, Beligra's stronghold, continuous. 4 guardsmen surround the pod. They stare, awestruck. Dot slowly raises her hands. The guardsmen bolt out of the room.